My name is Qing. I'm a co-founder and the CEO of the company called Focus AI. I have been working in Silicon Valley for more than 20 plus years. This is my second startup company I co-founded. The last one was Rewrite.ai. I was co-founder, president, CEO, CFO there. And the first company actually Xuhui invested my two companies. So before Rewrite, I was CFO of Validant LiDAR, which is the only LiDAR company that went IPO 2020 at $5 billion in valuation. Our CFO of Symbio, that was a Civil Lake backed company acquired by Bain Capital, and the CFO of Lightpoint, that was Sequoia backed company acquired by Teradyne, and of course, I was VP Finance, a company called Portal Player, where I met with my partner, Sudhakaran. That company went IPO 2004, actually acquired by NVIDIA back to 2006.
Hi, my name is Sudhakaran, and thank you, Shuhei, for having us. I've been in the Valley for 30 plus years now. Started out in semiconductors, primarily doing video encoders, decoders, and technology associated with that. And we met at Portal Player. We did the main processor that went into the iPod. And subsequently, I spent time, we got acquired, and we went into NVIDIA. And I ran the NVIDIA Tegra 1 and Tegra 2 development and delivery, going into mobile phones and tablets. Subsequently, I also went to another startup doing fingerprint sensors, biometrics, and bringing them into the mobile industry. And we were able to successfully launch that into all of Samsung's phones, mobile phones. In the process, were acquired by Synaptics. And I also have some background with Microsoft doing HoloLens design and subsequently Google Nest. Interestingly, Google Nest, part of my role was to build cameras and do machine learning on the edge. And that was part of the reason that recognized what was changing and what we needed to do to bring that technology. And that led into building Focus AI to do edge processing and addressing the market needs of today.
In terms of how we started this company, I learned a lot when I was in Rewrite on the computer vision. That I was heavily involved the cameras. I think short after Rewrite, in a very short experience there, I realized that the video management system in North American market is fairly large, about $15 billion a year, and the steady growth of 15%. I came out with this edge compute idea, and then I met with Starker last year, who happened to have this edge AI experience in Google Nest. And then we went out to hire a team. We raised $8 million from Foothill and other investor who invested in my previous companies. Here we go, Focus AI.
One of the things that's happened over time, being in the Valley for 30 years, technology is always a cyclical trend. There's compute all in the cloud mainframes to then locally on your on-premise, and it's a constant cycle that's evolving. Most recently, the communication and compute costs curves have crossed over. And because of that, compute is cheaper now on the local side. Communication costs are higher, and also the cloud costs are higher. So part of that, in order to do our technology, reducing that cost and doing it on the edge, doing all of the processing of the video, which itself is a pretty compute intensive, and adding machine learning. Compute exists now, but moving advanced machine learning models to the camera and making them do the high performance decision making is a critical technology breakthrough that we hope to achieve. And as part of this, that is one of them. And also from a very stodgic, old school technology of security industry and changing that into a modern field where you can bring in the technologies such as large language model and being able to interact with the system and extract meaningful information live for the customer is another technology we'd like to bring. And those are breakthroughs that are happening as we speak. And we are trying to fold that into this company.
Yeah, I think my both company Rewrite and the Focus AI, we already secured, we actually closed the funding before we even start the company, right? So uh, I think the funding were really came from my previous investor, like Foothill, right? You actually invest in me, invest in my previous company before you made the money from those investment. So successful story and the track record is really it's my number one. My view is the number one factors for me to raise money. Number one, so you raise money from the investor who made the money from investing on you. The second one was the market we're working on, as I mentioned earlier, it's very large. And it was demonstrated by this in this space in other regions. It has been created about tens of billion dollars of valuation company before. It was much easy sell to other venture investors, right? Number three is the team. So me and the Stalker, and plus one of my other partners called Shenhuo. Shenhuo was a co-founder from IB. He was a founding member of Alibaba Damo Lab. He was machine learning. He was AI. He was computer vision. He NLP background. So this team or a team, or every investor looking at it. So number four, we're able to embrace the new technology like a generative AI, Stocker just mentioned. We're very confident that we are the only player in this VSaaS space that we are able to integrate these generative AI features in our product. It has been daily used by our beta customers, right? So those are all the factors we are very confident we're able to, even in current very difficult market, we're able to raise the money from investors. So in terms of what kind of factors we're looking at the investors, it's just my history experience was when I was in Valadyne, our Series A investor was Baidu and Ford, right? So they not just gave us the money, they also gave a lot of additional resources. So in Rewrite, our Series A leading investor was renowned Nissan Mitsubishi. That was back to 2018, the largest OEM in the world. So we followed the very similar things, right? So we love to have financial investors who bring the money, give us the value, like Xu Hui and Foothill. I remember my head of HR was introduced by Xu Hui from Yahoo when they founded WeRide, right? So, and meanwhile, we're also looking for at very early stage those strategic investors. They not to give us money, also give us a business, give us a resource, which is something financial investors are not able to bring us. So I think we follow that path.
All through my background, the team is very critical. Most of the time, we're always looking at the first level on technical capabilities of the individual. That is very important. And fortunately, we are in Silicon Valley. We have plenty of resources, talented individuals available. However, for me, a critical aspect that I look for is to judge whether the candidate has a can-do attitude, because technology, especially in a startup, is not going to solve everything. You're going to hit walls multiple times. You have to change and change your direction, solve different problems. Every day is a new problem. So we have to look for somebody that's not going to be perturbed by those type of changes. So I'm always looking for somebody that's not going to be upset or feel down because they ran into a problem, but we need to get together as a team and be able to solve that problem. So looking for team players, somebody that doesn't want to call it quits and be able to contribute. And the other cultural aspect that I'd like to do is, to me, everybody is part of that small team. And it's very, very important to collaborate where you're open about everything. You're able to communicate clearly, set expectations, and grow that culture not only from myself, but have individuals also contribute amongst themselves in the same manner, so we can collectively solve the problem. So those are the key metrics that I look for. I can tell you. So one of the things that I already mentioned, change is constant. So you got to be prepared for that. You have to anticipate as part of the growing pain is to start to anticipate from your experience where are all the choke points, what to be prepared for. You're never going to get everything right, but you got to be ready, thinking ahead and planning what to expect next week, what to expect the following week, and be prepared for things to fall in your lap that you need to go solve. And so that is an important thing that is a constant problem that you need to address. And trying to prepare your team to be aware of that and solve that is important. And the other thing that we commonly do, and including in Focus AI, where we're building a security system and a camera, an advanced camera. Um, we're not reinventing the camera, but we're reinventing the software and the technology that goes inside and the machine learning that we're going to do. So when we build cameras, as an example, recently, um, we expect our ODM to deliver the camera. And even though it may be very mundane, it's a similar camera to what they've built before, they made mistakes. And so these are the kind of things that you need to be constantly vigilant. You'll have to look at it, you have to double check. In the end, it affects your life and the company's life. You need to make sure things are done right. So these are constant problems that occur, and you need to go the extra step to look for how do you solve that.
Yeah, from my perspective, may not be that technical as what Stark is focused on. Finding the right partner as your founding members that you can trust and rely on, it's extremely important based on my experience there. So uh, I just cannot waste some time to debate or arguing or convince the people unnecessarily what to do, right? Especially in the early stage, it's kind of like a frustrating and time consuming, right? So get the people we can share the same passion working on as really timely basis is extremely important. That's how I learned big time, right? Find the right people you can work on. It's a long journey for founding a company. It's not everyone or everything will work out on their own. So get a group of people, share the same passion, work together very, very nicely. It's something I learned big time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, me, so I play golf every weekend with a fixed group of people, so including Shuhei. Um, it's kind of friends, also our investors. I try to extend kind of business relationship also to the personal interest shared. Um, and also I do backpacking. I do backpacking every year. I just finished last week about 6 days, 60 miles backpacking in Iceland. Uh, where's the glaciers and the Skogar waterfall. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I did last week.
I'm a big food and wine person. The concept of eating is very, very fascinating to me. So that's one of the things that I'm always looking for outside of work. And then I also do some amount of hiking. Enjoying with nature is something very, very important for me, the way I grew up as a young kid. So those are things that I do.
The book, I don't too much read a lot of book, but I like to read the people's bios, like Elon Musk and also Steve Jobs. But I like to read some like new technology or research papers, even though I'm a finance guy. So I try to keep myself up to date with the new development about technology, generative AI or large language model transformers.
I still love Built to Last. It's a great book that taught me a lot of different things. It's been around for a while now, but it's a lot of the learnings, large corporations, and how they got to where they were, and how do you make it last, is very, very interesting to me. And that really tells me if we want to build something huge, what do we need to do? And be able to change and adapt and grow from there. That's very important.
Yeah, I just say hike. I did hiking. I did bikepacking. I sometimes work out, go to the gym, but I like play golf.
My typical habits, I'm a very, um, I sleep very less amount of time. I wake up early and I'm trying to look for what do I need to do for that day? What do I need to be prepared? And that's the first thing I do before I start the day, and then goes from there.